Happy Friday. Happy Friday. You are listening to the She Heals Radio Show on Awesome God Radio. I'm your host, Whitney J. It is Friday, January 29th, 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are tuning in on the Awesome God Radio app, thank you so much. If you have not downloaded the Awesome God Radio app, listen, download it. Amazing shows, amazing music, amazing sermons. You got to be tapped in and locked in. Follow Awesome God Radio on all social media platforms. You want to be connected, not just to the She Heals Radio Show, although I'm so glad you're with me, but we have amazing shows every day of the week. So tune in and get connected. If you are tuning in on Periscope or YouTube or Twitter, thank you so much. If you have not followed me on all of those places, the name is Whitney Hogans. Please follow me. And last but never least, my Facebook family. If you are tuning in on Facebook Live, thank you so much. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and share it to your page. Listen, y'all, I pray that you had a blessed week. I'm going to be super transparent. Up until about 45 minutes ago, this week was awful. This was just a rough week, but it's perfect because God uses all things. And I am so thankful for the people that God has placed in my life, my family, my friends, just people that truly love and care about me, that will check me when I'm wrong. They will lift me up when I am down. They will pray for me when I can't pray for myself. I'm just so thankful. I couldn't name all of you because I would be here all night and probably still forget someone. So I just love you guys. But let me hop into this word. This has just been a season. And, for me, I pride myself on being a really tough chick. And I've been through some things and, I have dealt with a lot of different things. But even the toughest of toughest people, they have those moments when they are tired and when they feel weak. And, sometimes when you are used to being strong and tough, you can view vulnerability as weakness or as a negative thing. And it's absolutely not. It actually takes strength to be vulnerable. And so, this week, I really over this whole month, God has been dealing with me in the area of being vulnerable and sharing things about myself that maybe I don't feel comfortable sharing, and seeking help when I really need help, and seeking perspective when I've lost my perspective, and also taking the correction, but leaving the guilt. And, this week it was just, I can't even say it was a roller coaster of emotions, because roller coasters go up and down. And it wasn't that. It just was a lot of down. And I was so beat down. And all week I was trying to cry. I don't know if you've ever been in that season, that space when you're trying to cry. It's like, I can feel that I need to cry. I can feel that I need that release, but for some reason it's not coming up. And I promise you, I have been trying all week to just let it out. Lord, help me just to let it out. I know I need to cry about some things. I know I just need to release that. And literally at 5:00 tonight, an hour before the show, I was in my bathroom just kind of getting myself, ready. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll put some makeup on. That didn't happen. And literally the tears were able to come out. And I just had to have that moment where I could cry it out to God. And I realized the reason why I was so beat down this week and so run down this week is not because God hasn't heard my prayers. It's not because God is somewhere and he's forgotten about me. It's because I am carrying weight that was not intended for me to carry. And when you carry things that are not intended for you to carry, you are going to be weighed down. It is really that simple. You don't carry a 10-year-old child around, right? You carry babies. You carry toddlers, right? But at some point, you got to put them down because they're too big and it's too much weight for you to carry, right? And if you're still carrying a 10-year-old, how are they going to learn how to manage their own weight and withstand their own weight? So you've got to let some things go, right? And so I had to let some things go. And I realized I was carrying all this weight of things that are outside of my control. They're outside of my control. I can't control what happens. I can only control my response, right? I can't control other people. I can't control situations for other people. I can't control the future. I can't control the past. All I can control is myself. And I can't even do that by myself. I need the Lord every second of the day to be able to do that. All I can do is just stay in that space. right? I can't control it. And here I am carrying this weight, right? All week. I'm weight really up until an hour ago, being super transparent, carrying all this weight. God, I just want this to work for this person. And I've tried to help and I've done this and I've done that. And God, I need your help there. And God, I got this situation over here and that situation over there. And then this popped up. And then look, this thing back here, God, is too heavy and it's too hurtful and painful for me to deal with, but you're requiring me to deal with it. I can't stuff it away anymore, right? You've exposed it. Now I got to sit with it and I got to deal with it. God, and it's way too much. And God said, it's because you're trying to do everything in your strength. You already have a plan in your mind of how things are going to work out, but you don't see the bigger picture. You don't see what I see. And so you're trying to work your plan and you're asking me to co-sign it. And you're frustrated because you haven't submitted that to me. And the reason why you haven't submitted that thing to me is you don't fully trust me. And the reason why you don't fully trust me is that you haven't fully dealt with disappointment that I may have allowed to happen in the past. How can you trust somebody when they disappoint you? It's a process, right? So can we be honest for a second? Can we be honest and say that it's hard to trust God sometimes because there have been times that I've trusted God in the past and he has allowed the worst thing to happen? Can I be honest and say that there are times where I do want to handle it myself because I'm afraid if I fully give it to God, I don't know what he's going to do with it. I may want it to work out this way. He may cause it to work out that way. So can I be honest when I say I hold things sometimes that aren't my weight to carry and then I cry out to God because the weight is too heavy and I'm tired, and it's this cycle. And so God is like, are you going to give that thing to me or not? Because I can do with it far more than what you can do with it. So you got to let that thing go, beloved. You got to give that thing to me. And I understand that you're taking a risk. I understand that you don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that is where you have to check my stats. That is where you have to know who I am and remember who I am. Not just who I was back in the Bible, but who I've been to you personally, who I've been to you, the people that are connected to you. Can you check the stats with God? Can you check that he has always been faithful? Let me just tell you, this week, I have been beat down and run down to the point of exhaustion. I have not been eating. I have not been sleeping. I have not been feeling well. Why? Because I'm carrying weight that's not mine to carry. And I had to lay that down. So at 5 o'clock tonight, those tears hit the wall and I had to just lay it and say, God, I give you my yes. Have your way, God, even if it doesn't work out the way I want it to work out. Even if it doesn't work out at all. Have your way, God. Do you have a yes for God? Do you have a release for God where you fully take your hands off of something and you say, you know what, God, your will be done. Here's the thing. God sees what we don't see. We are so busy trying to control everything and to create this environment because we only can see with our eyes, right? We only can see what God, only within our reach, right? So we're trying to create this world and we see it like, I need this piece to go right here. I need that piece to go right there. And I just got to have it this way. It has to be this way. We don't see that God sees everything, right? So here we are thinking that we need this entire scenario to go a certain way. This is me. I'm talking to myself. I am beat down and run down this week because I've been trying to push a scenario. God, this is how I want it to work out. I just want this to happen like this. I want this situation to be resolved in this way. God, I want you to do this for that person. God, I want you to allow this person to do this or think this or say this. I've been trying to create what I want to see. We cannot create what we want to see. We have to trust what he allows. And it's not the same thing. And so I've been swirling. I mean, I'm telling you, mental health all over the place this week because, and these are some pretty significant things. I'm not making light of them, but they're not my weight to carry. And it's nothing that I can change. When you finally realize that certain things are completely out of your control, you've got to let it go. And so I had to let it go. I had to cry it out. I'm talking boohoo. You know, one of my childhood friends, India, she used to always say to me, Whitney, you are the toughest crybaby I have ever met. And I used to crack up because as tough as I am a complete crybaby. I cry all the time. And so I had to cry it out this evening. And I'm not saying I'm fully there and all of a sudden, no, I'm saying I'm in a good space right now. Sometimes you got to take things moment to moment with God. Okay. I'm in a good space right now and I'm just going to be present in the moment. I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to feel later. I'm not going to worry about how I felt before. Right now is good and I'm going to go with that. But what I'm saying to you is you have to trust God beyond what you can see. And you have to understand that there is a bigger picture, right? So it's just like having kids. You know, so I remember when my kids were little, right? And I remember, you remember that thing, that toy where it's the shapes and you have to put the shape in the right space, right? And I remember my kids playing with that when they were babies and they were learning, and they would get so frustrated sometimes when the one shape doesn't fit into that one, that one space, right? And so I would try to say to them, slow down, wait a minute. It's okay if that one thing doesn't fit there because you got these other ones. Let's try another one. Maybe another one fits there. But they would get so frustrated, they just throw it and start crying, right? Have you ever seen kids do that? That they don't see that they're the answer. This is a word. Thank you, God. They don't see that the answer is already around them because they're too busy trying to create the wrong answer, right? They're so focused on making it work this way, they don't see that the answer is around them, right? They don't see that because they're only focused on this one thing. And so then you're so focused on making this one piece that is never going to fit. That piece is never going to fit in that space because it was not designed for that space. So you are tiring yourself out. You are wearing yourself out. You are driving yourself crazy over trying to fit this one piece that is the wrong piece. And it doesn't matter how long you're there. It doesn't matter how long you pray about it. It doesn't matter how long you fast about it. If it's not the right piece, it will not work. And so you put all this energy there and you don't see that there is a piece right next to you that fits. How many of us are in this cycle where we're trying to fit the wrong pieces in the wrong place? You're trying to answer this problem with this one way. And God is like, but I have another way. Or maybe it's not your problem to solve in the first place. After a while, I stopped trying to help my kids figure that out. Because if I go and fix it for them every time, how are they going to learn how to problem solve on their own? Sometimes we try to prevent people from taking losses that they need to take in order to learn what they need to learn. Sometimes we are all up in God's way and we're trying to fix this and we're trying to control this over here and we're trying to control this over there. And God's like, but you're messing up my process and you're actually making things harder for yourself in the long run. And this situation where you only should have been in it a couple months, you're now in it for a couple of years because you keep interfering because you will not just move. Get out of the way. Whitney, get out of the way. God has it, all of it. If he needed my help, he would come and get me. But he hasn't asked for my help because he doesn't need my help. He has not asked for your help because he does not need your help. And when we are in the way, we are just prolonging the process. We're prolonging the healing. We're prolonging the answered prayer. We're prolonging the breakthrough. And we're also tiring ourselves out. You don't want to be so beat down and run down from being out of order that by the time God does the thing he says, you're too exhausted to even enjoy it. Because you've been all in the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. And trust him. Even when it looks like everything is falling apart. Even when it feels like the world is going to end. If I don't get this job, the world is going to end. If God doesn't move in this way, I know it feels like that. Listen, I know what it feels like to be so worried about the future. You literally can't sleep. It's all you think about. It is all consuming. You're so worried about that situation, or maybe it's multiple situations, or it's that person or whatever. And it's overwhelming and it's all consuming. And it's because you haven't laid that thing to him. And I'm not saying the moment that you lay it and you give it and release it to God, that God's going to fix it and he's going to fix it exactly how you like it. I can't tell you that. I can tell you that God's grace is sufficient for you and his power is made perfect in our weakness. We have to decrease. We've got to let it go. I know it's difficult. And sometimes it's not that we need to decrease and let it go. Sometimes it's that we got to say something. We got to speak up. And this week I had to let some things go. And in other situations, I had to speak up and say some things. And I had to humble myself to be vulnerable and say some things. And the things that I was worried about, the moment that I did what God said, whatever it was that he told me that moment, I instantly felt peace. Upstairs in my closet, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, I was bawling my eyes out at 5:00. I mean, tears. Whole face was red, puffy, and I just said, God, I've been trying to figure this out all by myself. I've been trying to make it happen. In one situation, God, I just want to get in and fix it, but I don't know what to do. In another situation, God, I'm praying that things just kind of fix itself because I don't want to be the one to have to fix it. But you're telling me, nope, you got to step up in that situation. In this other situation, I'm so afraid and I just I don't know what to do. And you said, don't do anything because I need you to trust me. So God, it's like 5 or 6 different situations going on. And God had to say to me, yes, and you're out of order in all of them. Because you're not doing every one of them. You have your way of how you want it handled. And you don't see that your way has not worked, is not working, and will not work. So why don't you do something different? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So do we really want to stay in this cycle where things are just, well, I thought if I just waited it out, it would get better when God is telling you to step up. This isn't your place to wait something out. This is your place to set and maintain a boundary. Okay, in this situation over here, well, I thought if I just kept helping them and giving everything that I could, that it was going to work out. Okay, no, actually, I need you to let it go because I can do far more for them than what you can do. I actually need you to back up. And that thing that you're scared of is not even that scary. Sometimes you got to check the facts. We will make something so big in our minds and it's not even that serious. It's not, I'm not saying sometimes it is, but it's not even, I'll give you an example. I remember, when my son, Kevin, was learning how to talk. And when he was diagnosed with autism, it was a really difficult time. 2 months after he was diagnosed, my husband died. It was a lot happening. He was learning how to talk. And I remember this speech language pathologist said, we think that he's lost his ability to speak. And we're going to, start working through, different avenues for him to talk. Right. And so, we had a community, we were using the iPad and we were trying that. And we were learning to sign a little bit, like more and just a couple words. And I was feeling like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And I was literally couldn't sleep. Oh my God, what's going to happen with him? Is he going to be able to talk? Is he going to be able to live on his own someday? What about this? What about that? And I was driving myself crazy. And God was like, listen, you got to give that to me because I can do far more with it than you can. You can't make him talk as much as you would like to. You can't make him do that, but I can. And so I had to realize I had to give it to him and I had to submit to the process. And that required him going to school really early at age 3. He was in this program for other children with autism. And I'll never forget the speech language pathologist at that school calling me and saying, hey, it's still new. He's not participating or anything. But when we sing, we notice that he, at least looks and pays attention. So we're going to sing to him. And they started singing to him, and they had a song for everything. They had Days of the Week. They sang Days of the Week to the tune of the Addams Family. They created his name, how to spell his name in a song to the tune of Bingo. And they did all of these things. And guess what? Kevin started to speak. And now, years later, I have to remind myself of those prayers because Kevin has lots to say nowadays. But what I said all of that to say is the process looked different than what I thought. I wanted him to just open his mouth and start speaking. I wanted a miraculous thing. And how many of us, we want miraculous answers to our prayers. We want God to just show up and do it. We want the need to be met. We want somebody to call us and say, hey, listen, you were on my heart and I'm going to sow a seed of $10,000 to you right now. We want the job to call us and give us the job and promotion. We want our kids, whatever it is that we're believing for them, we want them to just get it. We want the behavior to just change. We want their mindset to just change. We want things to just happen. And we don't realize that, yes, we do serve a supernatural God that is more than powerful of doing that. But sometimes that ain't it. He's also a process God. He's also a God that says, listen, I will get you there, but are you willing to walk the walk that I have designed for you for that? So yes, your son will speak, but are you willing to go and take him to school? Are you willing to do the extra therapies? Are you willing to walk through the tantrums when you have to allow him to scream it out because he's learning the word? Are you willing to go? He's gonna get there, but it ain't gonna come free. And a lot of times we just want God to do something. And I'm not saying that I get it. I want God to do something right now. There's like 5 things that I don't want to work for. If I could be honest, I want him to just do it. And if I could be super honest, in my prideful spirit, I feel like I've already been through enough. And I shouldn't have to do anymore. And forgive me. I repent, Father, for that arrogance when I have not endured the cross. But I think that I've been through something. So what I'm saying to you is, I get the feeling of wanting God to just do it. And sometimes he will just do it. But he can't just do it all the time. Because if he does that, we don't learn the lessons. We don't get any grit. We don't get any stamina if we're not willing to endure a process. So you can't just go and you can't just ask God to just fix it. And so I realize that I'm in a season right now that there are certain things I'm going to have to go through the process. The victory is already sealed. But if it means I got to take a couple hits, it is well. If it means that I've got to go through it, it's not going to come easy. I'm going to have to take my time. I'm going to have to trust God. I'm going to have to go through the process that he requires of me. So be it. If it means that I have to assert myself in some situations and speak up for myself and defend myself, so be it. If it means in other situations I need to be quiet and let the Lord be my vindicator and let God take over, then so be it. My question for you is, how bad do you really want it? Do you want it bad enough that you will submit to God's perfect plan? We've talked about this before. His permissive will is a thing. So yes, he will allow things to happen, but that doesn't mean that was his perfect will. And a lot of us are beat down, bloody, worn out from battles we wasn't even supposed to fight. We wasn't even supposed to be in that area. We wasn't even supposed to be over where the war was, but we were all out of order. And so we found ourselves in a battle that was not designed for us. But God being who he is, his grace is still sufficient. He will still snatch us up out of it. He will still heal us. But listen, I'm tired of that cycle. I'm tired of being up and down and up and no, I'm tired. So I had to give God a true surrender. I had to say, God, you know what? Your will be done. Your will be done. God, I don't know what you're doing, but I trust you. You know, it's like, I was talking about this before. It's like those connect the dot pictures. Remember those when we were kids? You had to connect the dots and then you would color the picture. It's like trying to color the picture without connecting the dots. You don't even know what you're coloring. You can't even see it until the dots are connected. So you can't sit and try to color a connect the dot picture with no vision of what it's supposed to be. So you've got to take it step by step, connect one dot and then the other dot. And even when you start to see the picture take shape, even when, sometimes once you start connecting those dots, you start to like, oh, I see, it looks like a kangaroo. And you might want to start to jump the process and start coloring it because you started to figure it out. No, stay. Connect the dots. Go with God. Don't go before him. Don't go behind him. Go with him. Go as he leads. Because he knows how to connect the dots. And he will connect the dots in his timing. From one dot to the next dot, it could be 2 years. Or from one dot to the next dot, it could be 2 days. But if you try to do it in your time and in your way, and you've already picked out the colors that you want to use for the picture, right? You ain't even decided to wait to see what you're actually drawing, to even know what colors are appropriate for that picture. You've decided, oh, I want this to be pink and green. So I've only taken out those colors. Well, guess what? Your picture, it may be pretty, but it will not be the beautiful picture that God designed because you weren't adequately prepared. So do you have everything that you need for the picture that God has for you? Do you have enough peace in your spirit to just connect dot to dot? This walk with God is supposed to be a daily thing. It's not supposed to be transactional. It's not supposed to be stops. Like, okay, I'm driving on this long road trip. When I get to this rest stop, I'll check in with you, God. And then when I get to the next rest stop, I'll check. No, it's supposed to be a moment to moment, a day to day thing with him. And that's why he can't give you everything. Listen, you got to start praying, Lord, give me my manna for the day. I know we want the whole thing, right? I'm thinking about things 3 years from now, right? I know we want the whole plan. We have things for our children, our families. We want everything at once. But Lord, give me the manna for today. Before I get ahead of myself, I'm all the way into 3 years from now. I'm all the way into the summer. And I just need to be right here at January 29th at 6:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need to be right here. Give me my manna for right now. And I trust that the next minute you'll provide the manna there. Listen, sometimes we got to slow this thing down with God. Because we want the big things. And I get it. But the little things, that's where we grow. That's where he molds us. That's where he shapes us. That's what defines how the picture looks at the end. So you're so focused on drawing a pretty picture, but if you don't connect the dots in the right way, the picture is not going to be what God intended. So my question for you is, can you slow down enough? Can I slow down enough? Can I trust God enough? Can you trust God enough to just take it dot by dot? God knows what the total picture looks like. But if you try to cut in, it's going to mess up the picture. Don't mess up the picture. The picture is beautiful the way God intended. He doesn't need your help. I know you might think that a tree should be over here, but God may say, no, I have a palace over there. I know you may think that the picture is missing something, and God may say the picture has everything that I intended for it to have. It is perfect as it is. Stop trying to interfere and just take it dot to dot. Connect dot to dot. And it's very simple for those that are saying, how do I do that? Because Whitney, there's so many things that are going on. I got some big storms. I got some, my health is in, critical condition. My finances are in critical condition. My mental health is in critical, like my relationships are in critical condition. My kid, get it. It's some big things going on. I understand. I'm in it. Listen, I'm in the fire. I'm not looking. I'm in it, feeling the flames, smelling the smoke. But all I can do is trust the next moment. All I can do is say, God, you're a God that created the flames. You're a God that knows exactly how long I need to be in here. You're a God that knows exactly where to position me so that even though I feel the heat and I smell the smoke, that I won't be burned by the flame. So God, listen, I know it's thick and I know I'm tired and I know I'm struggling and I know it's like 5 different things that's going on right now. But God, I know that you are right there with me. So even though I so desperately want to get up out this fire, I don't want to get out of the fire until it is ready. It's just like baking. You don't want to take something. I don't care how good the cake smells while it's in the oven. I don't care if it looks like it's risen to a certain point. If you take the cake out of the oven before it's ready, it will not be a quality cake and it probably will make you sick. So Lord, I know I'm in the fire and I hate that I'm in the fire and I'm tired and I'm stinking and I'm burning and I'm frustrated, God. I'm sick of being in the fire, God. How long, God, will I need to be in this fire? But I don't want you to take me out before I'm done. I don't want you to take it out before I'm done. I want you, you know what, God, if I got to stay in here a little longer, so be it. Because I want to come out being everything that you needed me to be. I want to come out being the exact Whitney, and I want to come out where you need me to be, when you need me to be there, how you need me to be, with whom you need me to be. I want to be in direct alignment. So you know what, God, if I got to stay in this fire, God, just give me the strength to endure the flames. Just give me the strength to call out your name even when the fire feels like it's consuming me, because feelings aren't facts. You may feel like you're consumed. That doesn't mean that you are. So God, if I got to stay in this fire, just give me what I need. And I trust you that when I come up out of that thing, you are not even going to recognize me. Listen, you may think you know Whitney J right now, but let me tell you what God is doing on the inside. When he releases this, you're going to see a whole new person. And so if I got to stay in the fire a little longer, then guess what? It is well with my soul. The flames can't consume me. They won't consume you either. That is the She Heals Inspiration segment. I pray that it blessed you. I pray that you feel God, because trust me, He is very well here. He is definitely here. So as we transition into the second segment of the show, I have a super, super amazing guest. I'm so excited. You know, social media can be really good if you know how to work it. And I was blessed to connect with this amazing man on social media. He has been a guest on the She Heals Radio Show before. Now we're going to talk all things entrepreneur. We're going to talk government contract. We're going to talk about, listen, securing that bag, but also creating a legacy for your family. It is so much bigger than money. So without any more waiting, I welcome to the She Heals Radio Show, Mr. Jason White. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Whitney J, how you doing? Can you hear me good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Never better. No complaints. It won't do me no good anyway.
Amen. You are right about that. Amen. So thank you so much for coming back on the show. I am so happy to have you here. And one of the things that I love about you, Jason, is that you, whenever we have spoken, I should say, you always are willing to impart knowledge. I love people that don't hold things for themselves, right. That if they learn something, they give it. And even just yesterday, we were doing a test run and you were like, you need to do this. And I immediately went and did it and was blessed by it. And so I just want to thank you for always being willing to share. I want you to introduce yourself and share with my audience, for those that may not have seen you before while you were on our show, who you are and what you do.
So again, Whitney J, I appreciate your time and thank you for inviting me back onto the show. My name is Jason White, first name, last name. I'm just a guy who's excited about, just entrepreneurship and just helping and giving back, right? I tell people all the time, all I have is a PhD, a public high school diploma, but I'm out here doing it, right? I'm out here doing it on the level that a lot of people wish they could achieve, but I'm only doing that because I was humble, I was loyal, I was committed to a process, and I listened and I was coachable to certain individuals that came in my life. And now you see me here today.
Amen. We're going to talk about being coachable because that's a word. That's definitely a word. So talk to me a little bit about what you do.
So back in 2008, well, just the straight answer, I do federal government contracts. I literally get the contracts from the federal government and I subcontract them right out. I don't touch the work. Sometimes I don't even see the facilities where the work is going on at. I really making passive income on a residual basis. I got involved kind of because back in 2008, I just knew it was we had talks before. I've always had that entrepreneur spirit. And I just knew something bigger and better for me. So now, fast forward 2021, I'm really going into teaching individuals and companies how to get government contracts as the middleman or middle woman. Right. And literally just get the contracts and subcontract them right out. And that way you're able to scale your business and literally take that money and do whatever it is that you want to do with it, whatever your passion is, and start to fuel that as well.
That is absolutely amazing. And it is so important that we know what to do, because I think a lot of times people gain knowledge for themselves and they start to, become successful. And a lot of times the focus becomes, well, let me to continue building what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And what God charges us with is whatever he gives us, it is for us to also be a blessing to other people. And so I love that you are empowering people to kind of understand more about government contracts and kind of the entrepreneur spirit. You and I have talked about it. And one of the things that I think is hard for some people is, when they think about, there's two types of people that view entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Some people have a glorified version of an entrepreneur. I used to be that. So I used to think, oh, I can make my own schedule.
It's sexy, right? To say entrepreneurship is sexy. It's sexy.
Yes, I got my own, right? And so that was how I looked at it, right? Right. And I didn't see, yes, that is a perk, but you're gonna have to work for that. There's some things, you don't start your business and the next day it's a Fortune 500 company. Like it takes grit.
Yes, Whitney J. So listen, I started the company in 2008, but what people don't know and understand is I didn't even get my first it took me 3 years to get my first contract. 3 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I started the company in 2008. I didn't even get any money from that company until 2011. And the crazy thing is, it was $125 when I finally got my first check.
Wow. 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 But that's to grit, right? Are you willing to keep going? If God has given you a vision for a business,
that's it.
Are you going to keep going when it's like, I'm not really seeing how?
It's the mindset piece, right? Like you said, I had a lot of dark, cloudy days. This isn't for me. Let me go back and, get me a 9-to-5. I need money for my family. People complaining that I can't pay this, can't pay that. But if I listened to that and would have turned around and made that U-turn and went back the other way, I would have never been in this position that I'm in today. So you have to have that mindset to keep going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is all about mindset, and it's super important. Not just that, to have a clear vision. The one thing, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I was going to ask you yesterday. I was like, I'm going to wait. I saw this meme and I thought it was really interesting. So, of course, people now, gift and a curse, they use social media for everything. So there are people that they don't find out the news until they see it on social media. Like there are some people that is that is where they get all their, so right or wrong, whether it's, real news or fake news, they get all their news from social media, right? And I saw this post and it was like, instead of getting your hair done or whatever, save up this money, go spend $300 and get you an LLC. And then I saw this other post that was like, we need to stop telling people to just go and get LLCs. Yep. What are they going to do with the LLC? What is the vision? Like, don't just get it to say you have it, but have a plan. What is your plan? What is your vision for this? So I wanted to get your opinion on that, because I think that sometimes entrepreneurship, like I said, it can be glorified and it can be trendy, but what is your opinion of that? And what are some actual tips about starting a new business?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're working a 9-to-5 right now and you're thinking about stepping out into the entrepreneur world, first thing you got to understand is your checks aren't coming to you every 2 weeks or once a month automatically, right? So at your 9-to-5 that you're working right now, or however many hours you're working, you're probably only giving that job 2 hours of your time, and the rest is just doing whatever you want to do. You can't do that when you're an entrepreneur, because every minute, every hour, every day, it counts, and it goes towards what I like to call delayed gratification, right? It goes in that bucket. So everything that you do 30 days today will show up 60, 90 days later. So you have to put in that work. One of the things that I want to tell people is keep your job and work your entrepreneurship thing or company as a side hustle. Work it as a side hustle. Grow it over time. Whether you have to spend late nights growing your business, whether you got to do it on the weekends, whether you have to do it on your lunch break. Keep your job, right? Because you don't want to just jump out the window and then you'll be insane, because now you're like, where's my next check coming from? That's what I did, right? I'm just a different beast, and I did it. And now, hindsight is 2020. I would have did it a little bit differently, and I would have taken my time to be able to understand, like you said, what's my plan? What's my strategy financially every single month? What are my goals? Okay, what am I trying to hit every single month? And then what is my vision clear? Is my vision really, really clear? And you have to make sure that your vision is clear, because once you step out into this world and you don't have those guaranteed checks, it gets real fast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Listen, I'm a full-time special education teacher and an adjunct professor and have a business. And so I get it. And listen, it's one of those things that you have to know what God has given you, and you have to see it before you see it. And so I know what God has shown me, and I can't see how I'm going to get there. Right. I don't need to know that part. I just need to take step by step. But it's super important that you go within your time. Now, there are, like you said, for you did step out there, and there may be people that is what God says to them, but that's not everybody. So know what to do. Like, I know right now, or maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I first started my business, would not have been the time to just leave my career. I don't know that that's what he's saying. So you have to make sure that you're in alignment too. But
that's a perfect word, in alignment.
Got to be in alignment, because if not, you're going to create a lot of headache for yourself.
However, one of the things too I wanted to say is, as as people have certain success or small success as entrepreneurship, they instantly try to push everybody else or talk bad about 9-to-5 jobs and
Right.
work for it. Why, build somebody else's fortune when you can build your own. I get all that, and that's the goal, right? I get it, but everybody isn't built to be an entrepreneur, right? Everybody just isn't built for it. Now I want to encourage people to try their hand and work for your last name. I really want to encourage people to do that, because if not, you're going to help me build my dream. You're going to end up working for me, and that's fine. But the thing is, you have to do it when you're ready. Not when you're ready, but you have to do it when your plan is set, and now you're focused on that plan. Then you go out there and get it done and be an entrepreneur, a full-on real entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about, I think is super important when you are building, is to have mentorship and accountability. I think a lot of times I've heard people say, well, I'm going to have my own business because I don't want to be told what to do. And I'm like, well, actually, accountability and mentorship is a life thing. That should be something that is heavy, and there's a heavy presence in your entire life. But how for you is it vital to have mentorship and accountability to not just build your business, but also empowering other people to build theirs?
It's huge. It's a huge percentage of who I am as a person. Not only just coming from how I was raised to be a man, but now as I go into this business world, how am I going to keep myself humble? You're talking about a guy that, like I said, I just got a PhD, a public high school diploma, making literally, $15 an hour, $17 an hour. You go from that to I'm making people's salaries in a month now, and it's a huge leap financially, and I could instantly be in the clouds and just think less of people, right? But having that mentorship, having that guidance every day to keep me humble, keep me grounded, more importantly, keep me focused to help give back and reach back to other individuals. It's a huge piece, because a lot of entrepreneurs that gain that not instant success, but success financially over a period of time, they let it go to their head, and now they're not even a likable person anymore. You're not even a likable individual. Your spirit is so negative because you think you have money. It makes you better than other individuals. I tell people all the time, I've never tried to be better than anybody. I just realized I was different. And because I realized I was different, I acted upon my characteristics that was a little bit different than yours. And that may be why I went this way and you went the other way. But I'm not better. I'm just different. But so it's a huge piece, mentorship and guidance.
Yeah, and I think just like you were saying, just the just having someone that's done things that are similar to you. So we always talk about you don't have to recreate the wheel, and sometimes you don't. You need just a person that's willing to say, listen, here are some things that you need to consider in this area.
Right. Yeah.
And then take it from there. But I think that goes back to what you said before about having a clear vision. And, there's a difference between a hobby and something that you like and something that you're supposed to pursue in a business.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about how do you determine the thing that you like and are interested in, if that is something that you need to pursue in a business mindset?
Yeah, so it's strange, because if you think about it, the people that are the most successful, they always are jumping at different opportunities. They always jumping out there. But the people that need the opportunity the most, they always are the ones that are hesitant. They like, I think I should. But that's because of two reasons. They need that opportunity to create instant money right then and there, because they back might be against the wall financially or whatever the case may be. When you gain a certain level of success, right, it doesn't even matter if you have an interest, a passion, or whatever. You can see the vision of that making money for you, or that's going to make money for your community. So that's one of the reasons why most successful people are always looking at opportunities, whether it's a passion for them or not. Now, in the beginning of people being entrepreneurs, I think it is important for you to look at something that's a passion of yours, or something that you can enjoy doing, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. You're going to have sacrifices from your family. You're going to have late nights. You're going to have frustrations. And if you're doing something as a business that you're not even excited about, it can come crashing down extremely, extremely fast, because that burning desire to build it wasn't even there within.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is important to just know who you are and your strengths and what what you like, because
Yeah.
those, and again, if you're selling something, if your business is selling it, you have to sell it.
You
you know
got to be the best commercial for it. They not looking at the product first. They looking at you, right? They
right.
looking
I
at
can't
you.
say, oh, well, I wrote this book and, I wrote quiet. No, I'm gonna tell you my story and I'm gonna have you so drawn in that you're like, oh, okay.
Right, right,
We need to what's the next step? And so
right.
you gotta be passionate about whatever it is that you're pursuing. I wanted to hop into those specifically government contracts, because I
Yeah.
think some people may not be clear on exactly what those are and what are some tips for getting and securing one.
So that's a great question. So a government contract is, well, I'm on the federal level. So you have the three different levels: federal, state, and then your local municipalities. But I'm on the federal level. I just deal with Big Daddy, right? If all the money comes from the top, that's what I want to deal with. So a federal government contract is merely the government puts out a solicitation on a website called beta.sam.gov. They will put it out there and say, listen, we are looking for this product, or we're looking for this service, and we're looking for companies to bid on this product or service. And once you go through the bidding process, you either win or you lose. Once you win, or in my particular case, since I do it as the middle person, as soon as I win that award, I congratulate myself. I, pat myself on the back, give myself a thumbs up, and then I send that congratulatory letter right to the subcontractor, and I tell them, look, it's time to get to work. This is what we discussed. This is what we bidded on. Now it's time for you to go out there and perform. So one of the ways to get started, you have to, this is funny that we're saying this, you have to create an LLC, right? You have to create an LLC, you have to, and then you have to register your company into a database called sam.gov, sam.gov. Once you register your company into that database, the government comes back and says you're approved, and now you're ready to start bidding on contract.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And that's it in the simplest form.
Yeah. And so I know, like you said before, that this is now, like you said, you are very successful, from where you started. You're definitely continuing to make progress. But talk to me a little bit about that in between. So you said those first 3 years you didn't have any contracts, and even when you got your first contract, it wasn't for that much money. Right. Talk about that, because I feel like there are people, and if I can be super transparent, I'm in that boat sometimes too, where you're just wondering how this is going to move forward, just not sure, like, well, was I supposed to do that? Or did I get something? I imagine there were some discouraging moments that you may have had during that time. So what advice can you give for the entrepreneur that is in that space where the fruits of their labor haven't been revealed to them yet?
Haven't came yet. Yeah. So I had plenty of dark moments, like I said, but I think it was important for me to understand in those dark moments, when I would look back at where I came from, even though I still haven't won a contract, even though I'm still having these woe is me moments, I would look like, okay, last week I didn't know what a scope of work was. This week I understand what it is. Okay, last week I didn't determine that my pricing was off, and this is why I'm losing contracts, and now I'm able to fix it. So I think it's important for everybody to understand you might not be there, the fruits of your labor may not harvest just yet, but you're growing, right? As you're going through it, you're growing as well, because you're learning. You're not taking a loss. Don't get frustrated. You're learning each day that you step into your business and you step into your purpose. You're actually growing. You're growing mind, body, and soul, because mentally now you're getting a lot tougher. Your spirit is right because now you're aligned properly. I love that word, Whitney J. Now you're aligned. And then your body is in tune. You're getting rest, or you're getting rest properly. You're getting up earlier. You're going to bed later. Like all of that starts to happen almost organically as you start to take your business serious, and you're having those dark woe is me moments. You're not even understanding that, hey, you just got 10 times better today. You just got 2% better today, right? And each day is a rule of thumb to get just 2% or 1% better than the day before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a process.
Yes. You got to trust the process and love it. It's not overnight. I mean, even, obviously we're talking about government contracting, and a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to get a government contract and I'm going to be rich. It's not that. The government game, the federal government space is a long-term game, not long-term like 20, 30 years, but my model is letting the compound effect take effect, right? So if I get one contract, that's for $2,000 a month. And then the next contract I get, now that's, $500 a month. And then I get one for $10,000. It's letting all of that money stack up. Right. So 3 contracts every month, you look up, you at $15,000 a month and you got 3 contracts. So it's a long game, not a get rich quick game.
Absolutely. And I think that speaks to the next thing is the endurance. And right now it's hard because if you look at social media, things, have a way of showing, it looks like it happened overnight, right? So you see that person that they go viral, right? And you don't realize, that person has probably been working on their craft for a long time. Right. That was just the one opportunity that they, that was the door that got opened for them to move them to the next level. But you tend to look at it most of the time, you would know that, oh, this person's been at this for a little while, but you see that. I think we get frustrated because it doesn't happen overnight, like you said, and it does take some great. And then also, every good thing comes with a team.
Yep.
Everything comes with a team. And, I remember and that I felt like, okay, I am Wonder Woman and I can make stuff happen. And, right. And yes, that might be true, right? I might be able to make some things happen, but just because I can do it doesn't mean I should.
Exactly.
I'm learning of the power of having a team. So speak to a little bit about having a team and how do you develop your team when you are starting your own business?
Yeah, so to be honest, right, it was a struggle because I'm one of those individuals. I love to take everything on myself. I want to learn it. I want to do it. I don't want to delegate, right? I want to just take it full on, and now you end up getting to the point where you can't organize properly. You right, because everything is so scattered, it's all over the place. The importance of having a team is to help you as the head, command, the head of the business, stay focused on growing and scaling the business and delegating all the little stuff to somebody else. So in my space, everything is time driven because these contracts have to be due on a certain time. So it was important for me to delegate. Okay, I need you to let me know when this contract is due. Okay, now and then you talk to another person or build up another person. Remember, you know the information, so you actually have to train somebody to get to a point where at least you can trust them with this part of your baby, this part of your business. But to do that, you have to trust them. You have to show patience, exercise patience, and now you're able to scale. But having a team it's huge. It's monumental. You have to have that for organization and for sanity, if nothing else, because you'll go trying to do everything yourself.
Yes, I have learned trial and error. Yes, you do need a great team. And I think the one thing to say about that is, truly seek God on who your team is. I know a lot of times you might have people in mind that you want to work with.
That's true.
Do certain like, oh, this is my, friend, or this is whoever. You got to make sure that and it's not a bad thing to them or you, but you have to make sure that is the person for your team for that assignment, and don't just put people there. Really ask God to help you and show you who's meant to be there, because having the wrong people on your team can be detrimental as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just like you said, you can have somebody in mind and say, oh, I know they'll be great at this, but now remember, everybody's great until those dollars start rolling in. When money starts to hit the table, people lose their minds, right? Yeah. I will help you out any way I can, but now, hey, I did all this work. Why am I only getting, $5? So, because once you put that money in place, now it's totally different. So yeah, vetting the individuals that you want to be on your team, and like you said, trusting God, that's just as huge.
Yeah, and have a contract.
Oh, 100%. Everything is contracted.
Just have things where everybody understands. I just know from experience, just having a clear vision of what's expected of you, what is expected of that other person. I don't care who it is, if they're family, friends. It does not. It's just for us to be clear And it's just for accountability on both sides.
Get the money on the table. Talk about the money on the table right now. So once the money come in, it's all good.
Right. Like, let's just have some things lined out so that we and you are good. Right. And so these are just some tips. We can't give you everything, but you, Jason, have an event that is coming up that I am super excited about. So I want you to share. I'm going to drop the flyer for it in every stream. So don't worry, you will see it. But share a little bit about your event that's taking place soon.
Nice. So this coming Monday, February 1st, I'm having my first webinar. It's called the Recession Proof Pure Money Webinar. It's going to be with myself and my colleague that I'm collaborating with. His name is Dr. Travis Davis. And all we're doing is simply giving out free game, how to really start your business at doing government contracting as the middle person. It's too much money out here on the table. So myself and Travis, Dr. Travis Davis, we're going to go all in for at least close to 2 hours. We're going to go all in. And then at the end, we're going to have some Q&A as well and give individuals a chance to process all the, because it's going to be information overload, right? A lot of people that, and I think right now we might be at like 400 people already.
Wow.
So yeah, it's jumping. So it's going to be information overload, and we understand that. So we want to give people the opportunity to just process the information and ask certain questions, because we want people to start moving forward. Knowledge isn't power. It's applied knowledge that's power. So we want everybody to apply this knowledge that they're going to get February 1st at 8 p.m.
All right. And how can, I will drop the flyer, but for those that are listening that won't see it, how can they register?
The best way to register is go to my Instagram at @IamJasonWhite_. There's going to be a link in my bio. Click that link and then register. It's totally 100% free. So go to @IamJasonWhite_ and then click that link in my bio and register. And then when you register, I tell people all the time, send me a DM and screenshot your confirmation so I know that you're in the building.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Jason. That was just amazing. Listen, I already have put his Instagram information, so please register. Listen, even if you're unsure, you never know. There could still be a word that you need that's given there. So just, even if you're not sure government contracts are what you are interested in, there's still information there that you can use. So register, support him. Listen, I'm just it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I love talking to entrepreneurs. It gets me inspired when I'm in those rough spots. What am I doing?
As an entrepreneur, there's a lot of those rough spots. One thing I want to say real quick, right, Whitney J, I want everybody to pay attention to the way of the world right now. Who is our vice president? So if you're a woman, if you're a minority, you have to understand that the federal government is going to be rolling out a lot of great programs toward women, minority-owned small businesses, and we're going to cover all of that in the webinar on February 1st as well.
Yes, listen, that's me. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. So yes. I mean, I'm telling you, you are under an open heaven. I know right now, things have been crazy, but if you just think that we've survived the last year, it may not have been pretty, but I always say, you survive 100% of your worst days, right? If you see the next morning, then you've survived it. And so it's super important that we just stay in purpose, stay focused, and just move forward. Be gentle with ourselves, but keep moving forward. If you have a dream, and this is to any listener, if you have a dream or something that you're pursuing, I know it can get tough. I know that life hits. Trust me, I know. But just keep moving forward. Rest when you need to. Seek help when you need to. Have accountability, but keep moving forward, because it will happen. If God said it is yours to have, you will have it. So keep that in mind. I want to thank you, Jason White, for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Shout out to my producer, Quincy, for always taking care of us. Yeah, I know. He's so cool. To my AGR family, I love you guys. To everybody that hangs out with me on Fridays, I do not take it for granted. You could be doing anything, but you come and you listen, and I'm honored for that. So I just want to thank you guys. I want to leave one last word of encouragement. Over the last couple of weeks, we have been just sharing about the importance of mental health. We know that during this season, seasonal depression is high. Suicide rates can be high. If you are struggling, we are here to help you. I will drop the number to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Listen, if you are feeling low, no judgment. Just go and get the help. Your life matters. God has not forgotten you even when it feels that way. So if you are feeling low and you need someone to talk to, you can DM me for prayer requests, but also please call that line. There are people there that are wanting, they're waiting to encourage you and to support you. In closing, she thinks, she feels, she prays, she cries. She fasts, she trusts God, she gets stronger, and ultimately heals. This is the She Heals Radio Show with your host, Whitney J. Take care. God bless. See you back here next Friday.